What's up, everybody? We are in Irondale, Alabama with Lisa Cranford, her daughter Kyra. How are y'all doing today?
Great.
I'm so excited to talk to Lisa. She came all those years ago to a seminar I did. Gosh, it has to have been 7 years ago now.
18.
And they just bought matching duplexes right next to each other. We're going to definitely talk about those. That's such an exciting story. We're going to take a tour of those and see what their plans are for that. And then just even going back years ago, where I remember you bought the quadplex on a VA loan. You're still living there. You're renting out the other units. Lisa's story is awesome, guys. Stay tuned. We're going to talk with them and get the lowdown on this property out here in Irondale. Okay. All right, Lisa, tell me first and foremost, I want to know how you found this deal. How did you find
that's a great story.
How did you find two properties right next door to each other? Give us that story.
So I can tie this back to you. So you always preach your network is your net worth, right? So 2-3 years ago, we helped Mike Strayer and his wife on a flip around the corner. Just kind of, talking through, checking on things with them. It was a long flip, and my son wound up being the realtor on the end of it. And at the time, I think they had just bought this. At the time, just being able to give to somebody comes back to you, because they just called me a couple of weeks ago out of the blue, and they're like, we're thinking about selling because they're just out of town and it's just too much to come in town and take care of that, and they got a lot of other things going on. And they said that you were the first people we thought about because you helped us so much. And I was like, oh my God. I remember when they bought it, I was like, oh, I wish I could have those. So yeah.
So they bought. So this is something that wasn't even listed. It wasn't nothing. They were thinking about selling. They just called you.
Yep.
And the part of this story that I really haven't even brought up, but the part that kind of excites me is this whole time you've been a school teacher.
I have.
So tell us about I think that there's like this huge misconception that you have to be this super wealthy multimillionaire. And I'm not saying you're none of those things.
I'm not.
But you have to be this super wealthy multimillionaire, start investing in real estate. But you bought the quadplex on a school teacher's salary, and now you're over here buying a duplex on a school teacher's salary. Just take me through that. Did you ever think that was possible?
Absolutely not.
And take me through that progression.
So the whole thing started with the Robert Kiyosaki book.
Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I got to the 1031 exchange section, and I was like, I should sell my house. And I didn't know what it was or anything like that, but I just decided to look into selling. And that's when I found out about that Rob said, yeah, you can buy two houses. You can stay here and still buy another house. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And that's what we did, and had no idea that I had no real money. The only reason I came to your thing, your Flips to Fortune, was because I got a thing in the mail that said, hey, you can refinance your house and cash out. And I didn't even know what a cash out was at the time. And so I refinanced my house, and I was able to pay off all my credit cards, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew, okay, something just happened and I need to do something with that. And that's when I I saw your ad, and that night I wasn't even gonna go, and she was like, yes, we're gonna go. And I was like, okay, we're gonna go. And I mean,
sat front row and everything.
Yeah, and it was amazing because most programs are, tons of money. They just want money. They just want money. You let both of us go for 3 days for $99. I was like, oh yes.
I did. I need to rethink that for the future. Having a job like that, where just traditionally speaking, you don't think that you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars, or at least I don't. How are you able to invest in real estate? Is it a mindset thing at that point? How are you able to invest in real estate?
A mindset. And I'm probably going to go against what you preach, because you always preach find your niche. But we have just dabbled in everything. And dabbling in everything has allowed us, like, we started out thinking we were going to wholesale, but we all hated wholesaling. But we did wholesale a couple of houses, which gave us a little bit of money. And, we just kept going from there. We got lucky. Like, one lady just saw our sign on our car and gave us a house, and we wound up selling that one. And she just quit claimed it to us because she just didn't want it anymore. And we wound up making 10,000 off of that. And I have a business partner too, D Lightfoot. He absolutely backs me 150%. So when I'm at school all day, he's he's grinding. And then this one right here, he is always grinding. And my daughter is absolutely wonderful. So it's not just me.
For sure.
We're a team, and so that's what allows me to be at school. But it is really a mindset. I was like, okay, no more shopping, no more hanging out, no more all real estate all the time until we get. And so we did tax deeds, and we lucked out on. We found a $3,000. I bought a tax deed for $3,000 in a condo downtown in Southside, and 3 years later, I was able to quiet the title and sell it for $145,000 after Airbnb-ing it for a year and a half. So I'm more.
You still have that?
No, I just sold it. Just sold it recently, which allowed me to have the money to put the down payment on this and do other things. So, So, and then we had some land in Irondale that we did the same thing. We found it, sat on it for a minute, cleared the title, and mindset. Yeah. So.
Well, also, you're serious. I do talk about finding your niche or focus on one thing, but there is an element that I don't know if you can teach it. I don't know if there's an element of hard work. There's an element of like, I'm just going to go and make this happen that most don't have. And
I believe that.
Where does that kind of play into what you've been able to accomplish as well?
I actually thought about that after a conversation, but that's why I was like, you are like so pivotal in everything I do, because there was a conversation with you one day. I was like, I thought you were so proud to be able to be the catalyst to so many people's adventures and ventures and success. And you looked at me and were like, I wish I could say that, but so many people walk away and don't do anything with the information I give them. Yeah. So you're right. It just has to be something that you're ready to put your whole heart into. And I push them, like when I decided I wasn't sure I wanted to teach anymore. I was like, okay, I'm going to have before I move on, I'm going to have a backup plan. And we all decided together to get our real estate licenses. So, it's like that. We're a team all the time.
Well, I'm excited to take a look at these duplexes. I think we've got one tenant out of 4 total units between the two of you. One is getting ready to have a tenant tomorrow. So we're going to look at a rent-ready unit right now. And then we got one that's kind of in progress, almost ready, almost ready. We're going to look at one in progress. And then we're going to look at one that had to be all the way stripped down.
Not totally stripped down, but
so we're gonna get a wide variety over here. So here we go.
All right. We were in the process of cleaning.
So Lisa, just talk to me first as we get started here, as we do this tour. Both of these duplexes are all brick. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting. This one right here can't wait to paint. Yeah.
Paint the brick outside.
Yeah, we're going to do a lime wash.
Okay. What is that? So I don't even know if people know what that is.
It's actually a thing. You take lime and it's some kind of a chemical wash, and so it'll kind of make it white, but you'll see the brick through it.
Interesting.
So that'll be fun.
Okay, so give us a little tour here. This is a front. Tell us about the flooring first and foremost. Is this something that you had to put down, or it was already here?
It was already here. Okay. When you leave, we're going to finish sweeping, and I can get all these scuff marks out with some poly of the same color, and I'll just rub it on.
So are these hardwoods?
These are hardwoods.
Wow.
Yep. And they were already like this. They had just finished painting when I bought it. So you can see we're in the middle. We did have to redo the bathroom because the subfloor had rotted out. So we pulled up the whole bathroom floor. You could see all the way down into the crawl space. And we put down a new floor and then put in some nice tile, and then put everything back together. And right now we're in the process of doing the caulk and some touch-up paint.
So, but Lisa, it sounds to me like you're doing a lot of the work yourself.
I do. So I go to school all day, and then I come straight here, and I usually work till 6 or 7, unless the kids have something, then we tag team.
So, but that's not usual, right? That's something most people are kind of hiring stuff out, and you choose to. I know you're a really crafty person.
Yeah, I do a lot myself.
But you enjoy doing this?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I do the crafty stuff, like you said. I like doing baseboards, and I like I took. Well, you'll see when we go next door, but I took all the cabinet doors down and cut little lines into them to make them all fresh and brand new, and spent like 2 weeks stripping them down.
Wow.
Yeah, I did hire some stuff out.
Some stuff out. Probably the important stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about the kitchen.
The kitchen, this was already like this.
Okay.
This is peel and stick, but
it
looks really nice. And, this is pretty much rent ready. So we're not trying to spend a whole lot of money doing anything yet. So we can put it into the other houses, and then we'll roll back. We do a little at a time.
And so what's this one going to rent for?
$900.
Okay, and this is just straight rent, because I know you mentioned Airbnb, but this is just straight rent for $900 a month. Okay, this is awesome.
Yep. And hers, the one of hers is already rented for $900.
Okay, got it. And then this is how many bed and bath?
2 bedroom, 1 bath.
2 bed, 1 bath, duplex in Irondale for $900. Tell me about. I know you mentioned it earlier. Remind me of the purchase price.
$180. Well, no, I'm take that back. We bought hers for $175, and we bought this one for $177.5. Hers needed a whole lot more work, so we kind of talked down the price a little bit, and then we also rolled in, did a little creative financing on hers. We went up on the price, but then asked the seller to give us that money back so that it could cover her closing costs.
Okay, take me through that, because that's interesting.
Well, we were toward the end. As a matter of fact, we already had we were at the end. We had our closing. We had our closing statements and everything, and I was like, "This is a little more than we expected." With a down payment of 3.5% for FHA plus closing costs, it was going to be close to $7,000. And so I was like, well, why don't we raise the price up to $3,000 and then ask the seller if he'll give us that back, as we'll tell him we're just going to use it as a wash to cover her clothing. Yeah. That's what we did.
That's creative.
We do that a lot on our flips too. We actually built, when we buy a flip, like I bought a flip from Mitchell. I think you know Mitchell. He's awesome, and we bought a really cool one. And I wish you could have seen that one. Oh my God, we were so in love with that house. On Jean Reed. It was in Huffman, and it was on 3 acres, and it was amazing. But we had him, how did we do that? We had him raise the price, but then we built in a wholesaler's cost on our end. So it was like 2 wholesalers sold the houses to each other, but they didn't. The wholesaler was actually my business partner. And then there's the train. That's one thing we have to make sure that we're advertising when we rent out these places. That train all night, it's a switch yard. So all night, all day, there's trains. Whistle Stop Cafe is right next door. That's where they did fried green tomatoes. They filmed fried green tomatoes. But yeah, we do that a lot so that we don't have to go to closing with a whole lot of money, because we do bank loans we have a really good relationship with Cadence Bank, and we do bank loans for our flips, but we actually spend less than if we went with a private money lender.
Okay, so now we're going to go next door. Lisa, tell me about what you were talking about with the banks, though, why you don't use private money lenders.
We just have a really good relationship with Cadence Bank, and we get a great rate with them. And I haven't had to jump through the hoops that you sometimes have to do when you do private money lending, like all the stipulations that come along with. Like, for instance, I just call Cadence and say, hey, I need a draw. And he said, send me some pictures. Or he sends out, it used to be just, hey, I need a draw, and he would send me money. Then they cracked down on him a little bit, the banker that I work with. And now it's like, send me some pictures, or he sends out a guy who takes pictures. But I have a draw in my bank account the next day. You know, so there's no... It's not a ton of hard work like some private money lenders make it to be.
Gotcha.
And I get a good rate. So we've been working with them for a long time.
Okay, so tell me about this other unit. This is one that you told me before we got started that you're going to do a midterm. Tell us what midterm rentals are.
Midterm rentals are usually 3 to 6 months, and they're usually professionals, young professionals, like kids who have tons of young professionals who are coming here to do internships at UAB, especially during the summer. People who have problems at their house. Maybe they're even getting renovations, or their house had a fire. So insurance companies work with us, and they need a place to stay for a couple of months while their renovations. And that usually, renovations, that usually 3 months usually turns into 6 months. And then traveling nurses. So I usually do most of my, I find most of my people on Furnish Finders. And so, and I was talking to Jonathan Mednick the other day, and he does the same thing. And that we found that midterm, you just get so much more money. Like, maybe 3 months, you're getting $3,600 a month for and it's like
crazy. And this is a unit that would presumably rent for $900.
Yeah, and
you're talking about
it'll
getting
probably
triple
make more of like 25 to 28.
So why not do that with both?
I have a friend who needed a place for his mother, and so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would have.
Yeah. I probably
So,
would.
and then you just referenced Jonathan Mednick. Guys, we will link, we just did a video with him a few weeks ago. We'll link that up right here, right above you, right as we're talking. So give us a tour of this one. Tell us what you still have left to do.
Okay. As you can see, we bought a countertop, a new butcher block countertop. So it's not installed yet. It would have been installed, but my contractor has a full-time job, and so he comes to me at night and on the weekends, and he had something going on.
So in other words, installing countertops is something you do not do.
I could do it. I definitely could.
I know you could.
I don't have the time, and I know he'll do a good job. So I do a lot of auction shopping. If anybody knows me, they know that I can tell them I bought 90% of the stuff in our flips for $5 to $20.
So this is furniture, because this is going to be furnished for a midterm rental. Is going to be furnished. Okay.
I got all this furniture from the auction for $130. I got a kitchen table I'm putting together for like $20.
What auction? What are we talking about here?
It's called highbidders.com.
Oh yeah.
And then there's Pick a Pallet, which is in Irondale.
Yeah, I've heard of these things.
And
she hasn't.
Yeah.
You may have introduced me to that guy.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
I went there and I talked to him for a while.
Yeah, he's awesome. I invested with him for right before he bought, because he was by the Southeastern Salvage, and then he wanted a new building, and so I invested with him for a while.
Okay, so this is what you referenced earlier about the cabinets.
So I took all the cabinet door faces off, and then I stripped them all down and then I just took my circular saw and every 2 inches put a line in them.
Why is that?
It just makes them very new look. So they're not just the plain, these were just plain flat faced.
And that's not good enough.
That's not good enough. No, heck no. So yeah, when I get done with them, I'll put them all back on. I'm going to stain all the insides with a poly so that it's really durable and easy to clean. And then I'll put all the cabinet doors back on, and maybe this renovation of this kitchen cost me $300, maybe. Maybe.
And that includes buying the countertop.
The countertop I got, no, the countertop cost me about $200. The cabinets, though.
Oh, the
Usually
cabinets.
you would, this many cabinets, you'd probably pay $2,000 for.
Wow.
And I've done my cabinets for maybe $300. Probably a lot less than that.
In your time.
Yeah, I just sit there and watch TV at night and paint the cabinets. So, yeah.
That's great. And you bought this.
I got this from the auction.
Wow.
For $100.
Okay.
And I'll probably have to buy because this is the dryer, so I'll have to buy the washer. But when the washer's $500, so when you buy 2 of them for $600, you're only paying $300 each. Okay. And then I ran into these. They were on clearance at Home Depot for $10.
And what would you do with these?
These go on the wall to make it really pretty.
Okay.
But when I got up to the register, they were $5, so I went back and got them all.
How many did you get?
I
just see 4 here. There's more?
Yeah, there's more somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know where they're at. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hit deals like that all the time. I even hit a penny deal at Home Depot one time. I went up to the register. You haven't seen there's people on TikTok and Instagram who talk about penny deals at Home Depot, but at some point they mark everything down to a penny.
And you don't know about it?
And you don't know about it, yeah.
So you go up there to get it? It's
supposed to be, like, it gets marked down in the system, but they haven't pulled it off the shelves yet. And I got these shelf liners were, I don't know, they were like $7. They weren't that bad.
And you got them for a penny.
But when I got them to the register, they were a penny. And so I went and bought like 50 of them. Because I use them in all of my flips now. I'm down to about 5 left.
So you got 50 cents.
Yeah,
or 50
for 50
cents.
I got brand new, beautiful shelves. So.
Wow.
I took this off because I'm redoing the door. It's at home right now. This bathroom was a mess, and still really is. I just got the water turned on, so I haven't gotten to clean the bathtub yet, so apologize for that. This is a vanity that I got from the auction for $100. It's got soft closed doors. The other drawers are in the other room. And then I did have my plumber come out and hook everything up because I don't do plumbing. I don't do plumbing or electrical. My business partner, he does electrical. I don't do it. I don't do plumbing or electrical.
With as much stuff as you do, as crafty as you are, I don't think you need to.
I'm the crafty.
Yeah. All right, and then we got 2 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And what about the floor? The flooring looks similar.
The floor was the same thing. Yep, it was already done. My son is trying to put up the ceiling fan, but my business partner's going to have to come over and do that too because he shorted something. So, there's the rest of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing, 2 bedroom, 1 bath. Guy was here late the other night, so I took a nap. And then I go to like the thrift store. I got this beautiful rug at the thrift store for like $9. So I'm like, the save money queen.
So let's talk through the numbers again. So I want to make sure I got this all right. So you bought it for around 180, a little less than 180. Yeah. You had to put how much down with your?
For this one, I had to put. Mine was a lot less than hers. I didn't really have anything down. Like I had 0 down because it was a VA. I had to pay for closing costs. So it was like $2,500. Okay.
And then one unit's going to rent for $900.
One's going to rent for $900. This one.
And you suspect this will probably make on average what per month?
On average, probably at least $1,900 to $2,500.
So you're going to more than double what it would have been. And then you've got costs. You got rehab costs, and then you've got furnishing costs. Mm-hmm. So you're going to be in it for about what, you think?
My rehab costs right now are under $1,500. My because I just checked with my contractor to see how much more I could do. So they're under $1,500, and then my furnishings, I might have $500 in it when I'm all done, so about $2,000. And I am going to try and do the whole put money toward my principal to pay down the mortgages faster, because we really think these are the ones we're going to keep and give to the grandkids.
So are they on a 30-year now?
They're on 30-year.
So I'm just trying to do the math in my head. You're in it for about $5,000 total-ish, and then they're going to gross somewhere around $3,000 to $3,500 or even more per month. Those sound like really great numbers.
And the better I can do, the faster I'll pay off the mortgage. And then they're a backup plan. Like if something major happens, we can refinance, take that equity and do whatever we need to do with it. So, yeah.
Miss Kyra, tell us about your matching duplex with your mother.
Yeah, matching duplex. Amazing.
I think
matching outfits.
Yeah.
Matching duplexes.
My mom is amazing, and she networks like nobody's business, because like you told her, your net worth is your network is your net worth. So she let me in on this awesome find that she got, because she knew that I was interested in duplexes, and this seemed like something not too hard to do. I'm not going to say I wasn't nervous, because I've never bought a duplex before. I bought a house.
Okay.
I just, I don't know what goes into buying a duplex,
Gotcha.
really. So it's very much like buying a house, and I'm here to say, don't be scared.
All right.
If it's something you're thinking about.
So this is one you inherited a tenant?
Yes.
How much is the tenant paying?
$900
right now.
Yep.
So do we know anything about this unit? Is it in decent shape, or is there anything you're going to have to do to it?
The one that they're in, it's a little less than decent. I have been in it just purchasing the unit. They let us go in to look at it and all the things. Nothing not fixable.
How much longer is on that lease?
It's a month to month.
It's a month to month. Do you want them to stay, or do you want them out so you can get it fixed?
So that's funny you said that, because I recently was speaking with my husband, and I was like, what if we offered them the opportunity to move into this one once we're done with it, and then we hop into here and get started on that one? Financially, we're not ready. So we're going to let them stay in there for a while, and if anything, we'll just use that rent to, make our flips with here, and
okay.
With it being a month to month, I mean, eventually we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I will get in there. We'll do something to it for sure.
Okay, and so the other side, there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
There was. I think we're about 50% through. Yeah, we're about 50% done.
Okay.
A lot of it was painting, cleaning, painting.
Do you want to take us through that?
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it.
The kitchen, I think, is our biggest project. And there's a lot everywhere, so.
All right, so the kitchen was the biggest.
The kitchen's the biggest, and the reason being is I don't know if there was a huge fire or what it was. Smoke damage is what happened. A lot of old appliances. There was like an industrial light under here at one point. So just taking that, and I don't have as many cabinets as my mom, but we're doing the same thing. We're taking down, sanding. We're going to keep the backsplash. We're going to keep the countertops. We're just going to try and liven it up a little bit in here. But I will say kitchen is our biggest to tackle. Really, with everything you're looking at right now, all of this. Okay. But we've been painting, as you can see. It used to be blue in here. The back of the house.
But it doesn't seem like anything major, though.
No, nothing major. Just my mom always says it's the little stuff that takes forever, and so that's really what it is. What we're running into is just the little things here and there. If I'm gonna, me personally, I like to. Me personally, I like to give something that I would live in myself. So the way it was before definitely wasn't to my standard, at least. So As you
Okay.
can see, we're just patching up some holes, and
Oh yeah.
the bathroom might be our second biggest project, just because we need to get into that tub and clean it out, and we're going to replace the sink as well.
Did you do anything with the flooring in here, or this
was already like this.
Okay.
Yep.
And you're just going to leave all of those?
Yeah, we're going to leave the flooring, yep.
Yeah.
And throughout the rest of the house, it is original hardwood. I think tiger wood flooring. Yeah. This room used to be green.
Okay.
I've decided to go with black closets. I don't know why. I like black paint a lot.
Okay. So these are all just this is a checkerboard ceiling.
The bad part about it is the dark spot was the part that wasn't covered. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're gonna paint it?
Yeah, paint the ceilings. We've already painted this room. I need to get to these windows. That's another major one, because a lot of them have like cracks or whatever. So we just kind of have to get in and replace some glass.
It looks like you've redone.
My husband did
some of the outlets.
Yeah, all of them actually.
Okay.
Every last one of them.
And then, so what's going to be one of the bigger expenses on this?
I'm gonna say the kitchen. The kitchen really, because we have to replace the range hood.
But again, they're coming in here and doing all the painting.
Yeah, I mean we're doing. Oh yeah, he can't hear you. I mean majority of it we're doing ourselves. Like we did already have all this paint you see on the wall was a leftover 5-gallon paint bucket that we were just like, hey, we're not using that. Let's use it in duplex. So as of right now, the only thing we've spent money on is getting all the like the holes drywalled and just painting over that. Right now we haven't really spent anything, and we're trying to do as much as we can before we have to say, okay, now we need to bring in, someone to help us finish everything up. So,
but I mean, it doesn't seem like they needed that much.
No. Me personally, I'm very optimistic. I'm the optimistic one. So I get in and I see it and I'm like, hey, we can do this in 2 weeks. Turns out it's gonna take a month, but I didn't see it as a huge project. That's another reason why I decided, okay, let's do this. Let's get this duplex.
Right.
So.
Well, very good.
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through the numbers a little bit?
Here we can come on. Here. This one was for sale for $175.
It was 180.
180. We talked it down to 175, which was very feasible. For me, I've been working a lot lately, and my income has increased a little bit, so I didn't feel like this was too big of a project. I bought a house before. For $35, we ended up doing a cash out refi, and that one refied at like $145. So I guess I didn't see this one as too, strenuous for me to take on. So, at $175 is what I ended up buying it for. It appraised for $200, so we already have equity. I'm already renting out a unit at $900 a month, and once this one is done, and I have a lot to do. Real nice fine tuning on a couple things here just to make it look worth $1,100, because that's what I eventually want to rent it out
Gotcha. What's the mortgage payment right
now? 15.
15.
Yep.
So by the time you're done, you hope to have about $2,000 gross coming in with a $1,500 mortgage payment, and then you're going to have taxes. And does that include taxes and insurance? The mortgage payment?
Mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so yeah.
Yeah.
Numbers sound good.
Yeah, numbers are numbering.
And I preached to them since they were little that they have to keep their credit perfect, and so that helped.
Yeah. What about the strategy of putting a midterm renter in here?
I'm not doing midterm.
Okay, why is that?
I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Maybe I will do midterm. I don't know. I've never dabbled in it. She's done midterm a couple of times. I've never done it before, so I don't know what it's like.
Well, you got a good mentor, right?
I know. I have a great mentor.
It's really probably the cost of furnishing it.
Right, because then that's what I'm thinking about. Because for her midterm, she's able to furnish the whole entire thing. I don't think I'm able to do that just yet. But I will stick to a month-to-month lease, like my current tenant, and then just kind of go from there.
Okay.
Get the train.
Yeah, the train's coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank y'all.